Uncivilized Vitality. I'm going to go over the packing list for the Fieldcraft 101, what individuals should bring. And if any of this gear you don't have, we will provide it. Just have to let Jill know on the list. You need something to sleep on. I suggest some kind of foam pad. Doesn't have to be, you can just bring an extra blanket and fold it up and sleep on that. You want to prevent conductive loss into the ground. You need something to sleep under or with, just bring a blanket. Or a sleeping bag is better. If you're not used to the outdoors, bring a sleeping bag and a blanket. You need a pad, a sleeping bag, and a blanket, and then you need something to sleep on, like this ground cloth, but we will provide the shelter elements. You just need something to sleep in to keep you warm at night. I suggest sleeping bag, blanket, and a ground pad, because you can always wear the blanket around camp if you get cold. You can tuck it in, you can use your other items. You will have to, all right, so let's go through this. I'll go through it by the list. A lot of the stuff you won't need. You're gonna need, still staying with the clothing element, sleeping bag, a blanket, and a ground pad or 2 blankets. You're gonna need a hat, something to keep the sun off your head, right? You wouldn't think it gets too sunny, but the back of your neck and your ears are gonna get a lot of sun because you're outside all the time. You need a hat, a sun hat. You need a pair of leather gloves. Most of your hands are fairly dainty from being outside, and it's always little slivers and different things from all the wood we have to process and things. Just bring a pair of leather gloves. Keeping with the clothing element, I like to have a towel, a small like kitchen towel, or a piece of cotton cloth that's really large. I just use this American bandana shamog thing, because you get this at the military supply store, or you can just cut a piece of thin cotton because it has tons of uses, mostly just as a towel. So I have some cotton. And the other element of clothing, the only other element of clothing you need is in a small waterproof bag or a Ziploc bag, is your nighttime clothing. This is my nighttime bag. I have a pair of wool socks for at night, even in the summer, heavy duty wool socks. Sometimes I've run into the 4 Horsemen in the middle of summer and slept in nothing but socks, which was strange to see. If anybody came across camp, was that naked man in socks laying next to that small fire, but it was fine. And then I carry an extra pair of underwear because that lesson taught me to always have extra underwear with me. And then I carry this small, tiny little Morigami hood or a buff. This is the same thing as our giant one, and you can use this for a dry sleeping hat. You can pull it down around your neck. There's lots of things you can do with that. If you don't have a buff, make sure you have a hat to sleep in. Right? So that'd be my clothing elements. That's really all you need. You don't need an extra pair of jeans or pants or shorts or 6 shirts or 4 changes of underwear or anything. You won't die just from a couple days. And that way there's not a lot of stuff to keep track of. If you get dirty, you get dirty. Don't bring a lot of extra stuff. Now your containers, those are gonna be pretty simple. This is my regular cooking, or my regular bag, so you won't need a lot of this stuff. You don't need a bush pot, right? Your personal container is going to be, you need a cup. Metal cup is great, but just some kind of cup to eat and or drink out of, and a stainless steel water bottle. You gotta have a bottle, gotta have a cup. It's nice that they nest together, but this is not strictly necessary. This, yes, single wall. This one even has a little lid on it, so I can make a tiny little pot out of it and cook out of it. Pinky's up. But you need a cup and a container, or a water bottle. I would suggest then bringing another water bottle, like a plastic one or something you can mix teas or drinks or salts or different things and just have some backup water, right? This is my bag, so you don't need, this is my tarp I use to make my shelters. You guys, we're going to provide all the tarp shelters. I keep a fast rope in there. I'm gonna provide those for you, so you don't need that. This is just my little food bag. You're gonna need foods and snacks. Make sure you have, this is about a 3-day bag. I got some sticks, Paleo Valley beef sticks. I don't know how long they've been in here. I'm sure they keep for a long time. I have, we got a bunch of them. I've got 2 or 3 packets of ghee, so I've got a lot of fat and butter and beef sticks. I got salt packets and hot chocolate and a wild Zora soup. This is enough for me for the weekend for that, but I'm not necessarily going to be eating a lot, but we're going to have a communal meal on Saturday. So even if you don't have a lot of your own snacks, I suggest if you don't know yourself, bring more food than anything else. Just put some snacks in there. Make sure it's in a smallish bag, but get yourself some snacks so you have some of your happy foods in case at night. That way you can just lay under the tarp and cry silently and eat your cookies and wait till morning. It'll just be fun.
Breakfast is not provided, so you'll need something like oatmeal.
Yep. So we do 2 meals a day. You can eat whenever you want, but we're only going to break for community meals about an hour after we get up. We all try to eat together, and we'll enjoy the Saturday evening meal together. Sunday morning, you're kind of on your own as we break camp. And then Saturday or Friday night when we get there, if you want a snack before bed, that's on you. But we only do the 2 community meals. You will want some food. You don't need a bag of food. Also, don't bring a full bag of chips. You can't pack it. All right, try to be realistic. I mean, look, that's enough calories for me for the weekend, just to be fine. But I'm going to probably pack that with more stuff. I'll put some cookies and other things in there because plenty of space.
Everybody wants to know where you got the ghee packets. You bought them online, right?
Some online. Meijer has them. Kroger has them, the Simple Truth ghee packets.
I've not found them in store at Kroger.
Usually I'll just take, or Shane will do, I'll just take my own ghee and put it in a Ziploc bag.
And I like to have like a dinner that I eat on the ride up Friday, and then leave any trash for that or whatever in the vehicle. So I've had a good dinner Friday night.
Yeah, so Bonnie was saying, I don't know if they can hear you on the thing. Bonnie said you can just pack a meal and eat it on the way up. I usually will wear like my car clothes too, so that Sunday, if we've had a horrendous rain or whatever, I've got dry pants to put on. So you can bring extra clothes, leave them in the car. I forgot about clothing element. Make sure you bring a poncho or some kind of emergency poncho or slicker. I am going to give you garbage bags in case you need them. Joe, will you grab one of those drum lighters on the bottom shelf down there? So you can use that if you want to. It's just good to have that garbage bag. But I always have my poncho in there. This also doubles as my shelter sometimes if I don't bring my full tarp. I'll just use this to sleep under. And then, yeah, since this is my normal bag, I have another.
I used this as a shelter one time.
Yeah, you can use that as a.
Yeah, it was. We had a blast.
Yeah. Waking up.
Don't undo it. Don't undo it. There.
It's nice.
So these are 55-gallon drum liners. These things are worth their weight. You should always have 2 of these. I'm going to issue you one. We have a bunch of them, but I always have one folded up in my bag, which I'll show you in a minute. But you can use this as your poncho, ground pad, sleeping bag. It's multi-use, but you need something in case it rains, because I don't want to hear, well, I'm going to go back to the car because it's raining now and I've had enough camping. If it rains, it rains. You got it. You're in for a penny, in for a pound. Having said that, it's America. You want to go home, you can leave when you want. This is my other sleeping bag, just because I had this out when it was cold out. This was my winter bag. You don't really need an extra blanket. But like I said earlier, if it's your first time out, you might want to bring all of them. The only other things I have in the bag is, now I'm getting down to my salt and needle kit. This would be where I keep my glasses, maybe my phone charger. This is the same kit for me all the time. You won't need it. I've got extra rope. I got some fire starters. I got another fire steel. I got a mosquito net. I've got actual salt, needle. Here's where I keep my little spork so I can eat with. So you just need maybe something to eat with, an eating utensil, a spoon. You will need either, well, I'll get to that in a minute. You don't need any fire starting or hatchets or knives, but that's in my next little bit. So except for my fork, just pretend this is my toiletry skits. My toothbrush and other stuff is in here, but I'll set that off to the side. Salt and needle, one of your other most important things, is going to be in the top here. Let me dig them out. This is where I keep the other important part of my salt and needle, my toilet kit. You need some kind of small spade. Although we have shovels, you can always grab the camp shovel. I just keep one with me to make my little cat holes. We don't poop on the surface. We poop in a small hole. So you need a small, something to dig with. If you don't want to bring it or don't have it, don't go out and buy one. You can just use the group shovels because we will bring that. I keep a little bottle of, I'm on the YouTube here, we'll just keep going. I keep a bottle of hand sandy here so you can carry your hands. I keep a Ziploc bag with my toilet kit in case I'm in a non-permissible environment. I don't want to leave evidence. I just have to bag it and take it. And then I use these dude wipes because I can clean and refresh, I guess. All right, so there's my toilet kit. You can even put that in a bag if you want. You're going to want a headlamp. You got to have a headlamp. Make sure it's charged or fresh batteries before you come. Not a flashlight, a headlamp, because you're going to do some hand-free stuff after dark. I'll go over that in a minute. You're also going to need some kind of knife. You don't need a big knife, Rambo-style knife, just a small, anything you can cut, basically rope, string and cheese. You're going to be cutting some line when you make your shelters, possibly. You might be whittling a little bit of wood, but you're going to want to have a knife on you at all times. Now, it's a 101, so you're not going to be off on your own. So you won't need any kind of fire. It's not necessary to have the fire starting on you because we're not letting you out of sight, hopefully. But if you wanted to put a small Bic or a fire steel in your pocket, that would be a good idea. I think that's it. I've got a little boo-boo box in here. This would be part of my salt and needle. I got a tick key, some Band-Aids, some ibuprofen, just a bunch of bandages, really. What else do I got in there? Like some little saline to rinse my contacts if I got some in my eye. Just a tiny, tiny first aid boo-boo bag. For real trauma, we've got a giant kit, and all of the people, Bonnie, Shane, Mark, all the people that are experienced will have access to the kit. Yeah, so it's going to be an actual trauma kit for life endangerment. So that actual first aid. Let's see. I think that's all I've got in the bag. So I also keep, because this is my personal bag, I keep a saw, a garbage bag, and a life straw in there, but you won't need these things because we're going to provide those. So that's the stuff I take on my own. It all fits in this bag. That's my shelter, my food, everything. You guys will be able to come up and look at the table in a minute. These are the things you have to have. Something to eat with, something to eat out of, water bottle, a knife, toilet kit, flashlight, personal hygiene and first aid, snacks and food, a poncho, some dry clothes, limited to socks, hat, and maybe a change of underwear, and then enough blankets and sleeping bags and something to sleep on to get you through the night. Hat and gloves. And then you're going to want to bring some kind of piece of outdoor gear. If you're a turtle member, bring your hood. Make sure you've got that because we're going to do a lot of stuff with it, and I'll show you why this is such a invaluable piece of kit to have, not least of which you can just wrap it up and use it as a pillow at night. Or if you're a little cold, you can tie the end shut and make a little foot bag and stuff your extra things in there. You can use this to, and you will, use this to haul wood. I can show you how to make an Adirondack chair out of it. If you have two of them, you can make a cot and sleep off the ground. They're going to use them for a lot of different things. So we'll talk about that when we do the hood stuff and the craft. So I think that's probably it. Like, subscribe, what'd I say? Like, share, subscribe.